On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Nothing Left to Love by Counterparts. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're going back to 2019 for the most recent Counterparts album that has come out. There's a new one that's going to be coming out actually pretty shortly
like
here.
This year, yeah.
It's like within the next month.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. But I've been listening to this album and revisiting it because I listened to it when it came out. I was like, oh, that's good. And then more recently, I've kind of revisited it because I realized I hadn't listened to Counterparts in general in a while.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this album is really, really good. And so I figured I'd talk about it. I kind of put off us talking about it, though, because I was just like, I gotta be in some kind of mood because this album's a lot. This album is a lot. It's literally every Counterparts album is a lot emotionally. And so it's like, I'm going to hold off on this one until I got no other ideas. And that's, I guess that was last week. Because I forgot that this Wednesday was still August. And that sort of dashed my plans for whatever. I actually don't even remember what I was gonna say to listen to for a non-metal. I think it might have been Phoebe Bridgers or something. I can't remember. But the album that's going to be coming out here shortly is called A Eulogy for Those Still Here. And
There's a single you can listen to.
There are several.
Yeah. I saw that on the Amazons.
A eulogy. When does it come out? Google, please tell me when it comes out. Just say. You're trying to sell me so much vinyl. I know you've seen my cookies, Google, but the vinyl is not what I'm looking for, actually. Anyway, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. I've been sweating a lot lately.
You've been sweating a lot? I mean, it is summertime still.
I suppose it is technically still August.
Album comes out October 7th.
Okay.
But yeah, it is still August.
It's summer,
as we mentioned previously.
Yeah.
And you, like me, are literally always wearing a sweatshirt.
Yep.
So I feel like that might have something to do with it.
Sure, it might have. I don't think I'm gonna come in nude tomorrow.
You're gonna come to work nude.
Yeah, it's either a sweatshirt and long pants.
Well,
absolutely. Well, the cock ring, I'll still wear that.
No.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, you really derailed yourself there.
I did. I derailed myself.
How you've been sweating a lot.
Yeah. A friend of mine is in town. I'm gonna go meet her and shoot pool like after this.
Nice. I mean, you have things to talk about. You went and did a thing over the weekend. You went on a trip.
Yeah, I went to
you did a whole trip. You went and saw some bands. You hung out with your buddies.
I went to Slam Dakota Death Fest over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't even the intention. This friend named Jick, by the way. And here's the funny thing is, she made a travel mix to listen to in the car on her phone called Jick and Juice Travel Mix.
Oh, geez.
So we did. We went to Sioux Falls. We saw my friend Buddha, who, by the way, looks like a somewhat shorter Tom Araya.
Okay. Do they live up to the I think when you tell someone, oh, this is my buddy, and their nickname is Buddha, there is a certain amount of rotundity.
Oh, yeah.
So they live up to that aspect of the nickname.
I won't tell you what he calls himself because he can say it. Okay. I can't.
But
it's short and fat, and then the third word is something else.
Okay. But
usually it precedes span. So.
Oh, okay. I get it now. I got it now. But in any case, so they live up to that. But yeah, you hung out and you went to a death metal festival.
I went to a death metal festival. It was great.
All the greatest death metal bands of the Northern Plains. All three of them.
Bands. They had it was at a place called Biggs. And, they had
How
a
big
stage.
was it?
It was pretty big. It was a pretty big. They had.
Place.
I gotta say the sound system in both stages was kind of rough.
Okay.
But yeah, the bands were good. I may have gotten a little too high.
That happens.
Yeah.
Happens to everybody.
Yeah, and I didn't get to see the whole festival because at one point
had to take a nap.
My friends are coming up to me. Hey, OJ, you okay there, buddy?
Haven't done this in a while. They changed the weed.
Yeah. So we kind of went back to the hotel room
and did you eat some food?
I passed out.
Oh, okay.
And then I woke up and earlier in the day I had an omelet. It was a 7-egg omelet from the original House of Pancakes. It was called.
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, OHOP.
Yeah,
but for what immediately jumped into my brain though is when you said 7-egg omelet.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was not, obviously it's 7 chicken eggs. My thought was, what were the different kinds of bird?
it had chicken and turkey and
quail,
robin,
ostrich. Really, the ostrich egg is doing the heavy lifting there in that omelet.
Yeah, it would be. Hefty.
A kiwi egg? Pretty sure that's illegal.
Also, it had a panther egg.
That one doesn't fry quite the same.
Yeah,
it was also much smaller.
Much smaller.
A kakapo egg, again, extremely illegal.
Right, that would be frowned upon. Goose egg.
The government of New Zealand is sending people after you.
Yeah, just for saying that.
How dare you? How dare you make a joke about this? Our silly looking heavy parrot
that just wants to die.
It's not their fault that their entire environment changed because white people decided to show up. We were talking about that before we started recording. Yeah. New Zealand just got just as fucked up by white people as Australia did. So
the poor kakapo is sitting there. What the fuck is? Cat?
Is that a fucking cat? I didn't even know what that is.
I've never seen one of those before.
Is that a fucking mammal? What are those? We don't have those here.
Right. There was only one kind of mammal indigenous to.
Is it like a bat or something?
It's Maori.
Oh, well, yeah. And even then, go back another
few thousand years or whatever. Yeah.
However, just a couple thousand, because I got it confused between Maori and Aboriginal Australians arrived in Australia way mad early, like 40,000 years ago or something like that. New Zealand is much more recent, I think. But it's not the kakapo's fault. It's like pandas. Right. Like pandas didn't. People are like, oh, pandas won't even fuck to save their species, and that's. It's like, hey, why don't you chill out on the pandas, okay? They didn't expect the Industrial Revolution to happen and destroy all of the ludicrously common food that they eat. Of course, they only eat bamboo. Before machines showed up and started cutting all that shit down to make room for farmland. There was more bamboo than you could ever possibly do anything with.
Right.
Of course they'd evolve to eat that. It was fucking everywhere.
More bamboo than you could shake a stick at.
A bamboo stick.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with koalas.
Yeah.
It was not finding a eucalyptus tree to go up into and eat the leaves, and that's your tree forever. That was not a problem before people showed up.
Right.
And started building cities and roads and stuff. That wasn't a problem for them. We shouldn't blame these animals for the problems we fucking created for them.
Yeah.
Or like sunfish. Some people on the internet fucking hate sunfish.
Really?
And literally all they do is just float around and eat jellyfish and do their thing.
And be big, fat, odd looking things.
They're big and really heavy and they're stupid looking. But they're doing their best. They exist. My understanding of evolution is that if an animal exists and is not was not clearly already on its way out by the time the Industrial Revolution happened, that means it was pretty successful at doing the thing it evolved to do.
Right.
So don't make fun of it for just being how it is. Obviously, the fact that it continued to survive without us fucking things up meant that it was doing an adequate job, because that's how fucking evolution works.
Right.
But yeah. And also, evolution is messy. And
very messy.
Like it's not like, yes, it has created the perfect animal. It's like, no, it created an animal that's just good enough to survive and fuck, and then it can die after it's passed its genes on. Right. It was just good enough to do that. And then whatever happens after that doesn't matter. It's like, why do we start to fall apart when we reach a certain age? It's like, well, for the vast majority of the time there have been humans, we don't typically reach that age. Yeah. We're not like, things start to fall apart after you hit 35, because that's about the time that people generally stopped having children for most of human history.
Right. So those traits, what is that term for that?
I don't know.
The traits that happen beyond your reproductive years.
I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, that's where I am now.
Yeah, it's just like, well, everything's gonna fall apart. If you've hit the age where doctors are like, I mean, take a couple ibuprofen every day. I don't know what to tell you.
Take a handful of
You're past the point that evolution has accounted for.
Right.
That's once you've hit that point where doctors are just like, there's not much we can do for you. Sorry, this is just your life now. Yeah. You're beyond the point that nature has accounted for, and that's just how it's gonna be. And
but by all of my ancestors, every one of my male ancestors, by the time they were my age, had died in battle.
So, I mean, are you Lieutenant Dan?
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Dan.
Are you Lieutenant Dan Taylor?
Yeah, take care of your feet.
Lieutenant Dan Taylor. It's been a long time since I've watched Forrest Gump.
It's still a great movie.
It is still. I mean, it's. Like, it's been a while, but not a long time. I'm also 26, so what accounts for a long time for me is different. But like, it's probably been a solid 5 years since I've watched at least the whole thing. But it's a good movie.
I saw it in the theater.
In
1994, before there was a Kale.
Before there was a me. It's a me. It's Kale.
Let's go.
When I was a young boy, I sounded like a Italian plumber.
Did I tell you I saw that at the fair this year?
What?
Mario? My son and I were leaving the fair. No, it was one of my 19-year-old twins. We were looking over at the track, the go-kart track, everybody, and there was a guy dressed all in green and a guy dressed all in red, and they both had the hats on. And we're like,
nice.
What are they? Is this gonna happen?
They coordinated it.
Where's Peach?
She was at home.
She was in a different castle.
Peach and Daisy were hanging out. Sure. Peach and Daisy were getting some lemonade at that point. And Toad was what was Toad doing?
He was drinking beer at the cantina.
Toad was getting fucked up.
These fucking princesses. They're goddamn plumbers. I'm so fucking sick of this. Every time she gets kidnapped, it's always Toad's fault. I quit. I would. But I get fucking dental.
You can have a sore throat in the morning, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know. That voice is actually not too bad. Yeah. I didn't lean into it super hard. You fucked up the headphones.
Just for a moment. Well, no.
You fucked them up.
I actually pulled on the cord.
You pulled on the cord and now everything's ruined.
I can apologize.
This is not... See, that's a problem that is only audible to us and not audible to the audience.
Right. That's an in-joke right there is all that is.
Yeah.
So it was a good travel. It was it's 7.5 hours from here to
Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Good old Sucks Falls.
8 hours. Yes, Sucks Falls.
I've only been to Sioux Falls one time, I think. And I wasn't really there for very long.
Did I tell you what else?
We went to the place where all the bears are. Is it called Bear Country? There's a park where there's a bunch of bears.
See, it sucks. We didn't get to do most of the stuff we wanted. We wanted to go to the aquarium. She wanted to go to the art museum. I wanted to go just do Sioux Falls stuff, and
you didn't.
And she bought a pipe. And
that's in Rapid City.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I get Rapid City and Sioux Falls confused.
Yeah, they're on the
lot.
opposite side of the state.
Yeah, that's why. Because they're on exact opposite sides of the state.
Right. We on our way there, so we stopped, and her cousin has she's at Joseph's school for like hair and whatever.
Okay.
And
that could have gone anywhere. I had no idea what you were talking about.
We used to have one here in Minot.
Okay.
But it's a beauty school, and so she stopped. She wanted to get her eyebrows waxed for cheap from her cousin because it's a school and it's fairly cheap to go in and get it done.
Hell yeah.
And so she's in there getting her eyebrows waxed. So I'm just sitting there reading an outdated Vogue, and her and her cousin come running out, smiling and making eye contact with me. I'm like, oh shit. What's about to happen here? And they're like, hey, do you want to get your nose waxed? And I
said yes.
Yeah, I did. Of course I did. I'm like, I've never done that before. And she said, if you weren't going to do it, I wasn't going to do it. So I'm like, oh, now I definitely want to do it.
Now you gotta.
Yeah.
Obligated to do so.
And you know what? 10 out of 10. It's pretty awesome.
I don't know. The idea of having something stuck up my nose for a while.
It's just for a moment.
But I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. After you mentioned that yesterday or whatever, I've never been more aware of my own nose hair.
Yeah, you just wait, buddy. You wait till you're my age. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to get long enough where it's going to tickle your nose, and you're just going to.
It already does on occasion.
Really? Yeah.
I need a new. I have like a nose hair trimmer. That's probably I should probably get a new one. Mm-hmm. But
it's better to just have it smooth. You should feel the inside of my nose.
No, I won't do that.
It's like a baby's bottom.
I will decline.
All right.
To feel the inside of your nose.
I'm just putting that out there. Yeah.
You know what they say?
What?
You can pick your friends.
you can pick your nose. Yeah.
But you can't pick your friend's nose. Well, you can, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, you should avoid that.
You shouldn't pick your friend's nose.
I mean, there are circumstances where,
name them.
Okay, well, their hands are trapped under something, and a bug that eats brains just crawled inside their nose.
Okay, all right. So it's like a mummy. It's like a scarab in the mummy situation.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Name a different situation.
Or a bee.
A bee. The famous brain-eating bee.
If your friend has a brain-eating bee crawl up their nose, you got to get that shit out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got to help your friend.
I feel like if you're in an area where there are brain-eating bees, I think you were kind of doomed from the start.
Right, you've made some degree of error.
You've stumbled into the fucking Skull Island from Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Right.
That's some bullshit from that movie. Any other situations where you should pick your friend's nose?
Okay, they've elected to have rhinoplasty, and they're asking for opinions on what style to go with.
See, I like the lateral move there. It's clever.
Yeah.
All right. Those are the two.
Right.
Brain eating bees and your friend's getting rhinoplasty,
right.
And you're like, that one right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So do you want to talk about Counterparts?
Yeah, sure.
So Counterparts is a Canadian hardcore or metalcore band from Hamilton, Ontario.
Yes, it's a Canadian album from 1993 by the band Rush.
Yep, and now we're
okay.
Surprise!
Okay, good, yeah.
We're talking about Rush today.
Yeah.
So give me a second.
Hamilton, Ontario.
Yes, Hamilton, Ontario. I don't know why the name Hamilton just seems like it just oozes politeness to me. Like,
yeah,
I cannot imagine a person whose name is Hamilton being like mean.
Right, because if you're mean and your name is Hamilton, you're basically just throwing away your shot.
Hey.
Yeah.
That was a reference to the hit Broadway musical.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Right.
But yeah, oh, this is my buddy Hamilton. You picture like a 17th century dandy. It's like, oh, hello, I'm Hamilton.
So if it's your first name, not last name.
Yes, if it's your first name. If your first name is Hamilton, it's like, oh, hello. I'm very pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Hamilton.
Hamilton Cornwater III.
Yeah. Like, all I think of is the meme of someone's like, I asked my grandma, who knows nothing about Pokemon, to give them names, and she saw Charmander and went, Hamilton. And it's perfect, because Charmander does absolutely look like a Hamilton.
There are Hamiltons in my family.
Really?
I'm related to some Hamiltons.
Hamiltons. So yeah, Counterparts.
we immediately derailed.
I mean, we were vamping while I was looking shit up.
Okay,
so they formed in 2007, and they've been around since then. They're kind of considered front runners. Like, they're sort of, they're in that section of like modern hardcore punk that's very associated with metalcore.
Sure.
Like, there's,
I would call this metalcore.
Yeah, they're kind of half and half. It's one of those things where like hardcore at this point, and just punk in general is one of those things where it's like it's gone on so many divergences that like styles have diverged and then come back and been reabsorbed into whatever you could call mainline punk or hardcore at this point.
Right.
Like, you know, during the 90s, you know, you have emo diverging, and then along, you know, with emo, you've got screamo and stuff. And then that sort of like twists back in on itself.
Right.
And
then it converged.
And it gets into like, you know, early 2000s metalcore. They would mostly called melodic hardcore is sort of a subgenre that consists of like, I think the biggest band that sort of exemplified that style was like early Rise Against, very much melodic hardcore. They're much more just a sort of general kind of punk or rock band at this point, but their earlier stuff was a bit faster, a bit heavier. Other bands, there's another band called, oh no, I forgot. The Ghost Inside.
Oh, sure.
That was popular for a while, and they got in a terrible car accident. I think they're doing stuff again after a big gap and then COVID and all the other bullshit that happened, but they were in a horrible car accident. But yeah, they're in that sort of space of metalcore, melodic hardcore, kind of the Warped Tour pack of genres is what I would sort of call that. And they've kind of been known throughout their career for having extremely kind of personal and very emotionally charged lyrics. And this album was that. Definitely.
Yeah.
They have, I think, gotten heavier as they've gone on. Their earlier stuff is much more
synth pop. Yeah.
Yeah, much more synth. Their earlier stuff, I think, has more emo in it, and more like guitar and the songwriting that sounds more influenced by like late 90s, early 2000s emo stuff. I guess feel like I'm kind of talking out of my ass a little bit, but like I feel like they've gotten heavier as they've gone on and more metalcore influenced as they've gone along. And the singles that they've released for their album that's coming out in October is even heavier than this album was, which was already quite heavy. But the lead singer his name is Brendan Murphy. Their current members consist of Brendan Murphy, Alex Ree playing guitar and doing backing vocals and some clean vocals, Kyle Brownlee, Tyler Williams, and Jesse Doreen. They've had a fairly large, different number of different players at different points. I'm like forgetting all of the ways that you talk about bands tonight, saying all of the like weird words.
You're forgetting to human.
I'm forgetting how to human.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've had a whole bunch of different band members come and go over the years. Some people have come back. Some people have left. But I think the focus of the band has mostly been Brendan's lyrics and vocals. So I don't think that's a controversial thing to say about Counterparts.
So he's a founding member then?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a founding member, and for a while was the only founding member to remain in the band until Jesse Doreen came back. Jesse Doreen was gone for a while between 2016 and this year and came back recently and is presumably performing on the new album that they're coming out with. But
in October.
In
Rocktober.
Good old Rocktober. Welcome to Rocktober. But like I said, I think the focus is very Mitch. It's very Mitch.
I didn't hear you say Mitch was in this band at all.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg is in this band.
Hedberg, wow.
Which is weird because
he died of a heroin overdose a long time ago.
Yeah, a while ago. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Maybe it's a different Mitch Hedberg.
Time travel machine. No, it's the one he's wearing the sunglasses and everything. But yeah, what'd you think of this album?
I enjoyed it. I mean, this really kind of isn't my thing, but
yeah,
I did enjoy it. I thought it was very, very emotional. The lyrics are great.
What if Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years was very angry? That's kind of how I feel about Counterparts.
Sure.
It's just like, what if Dan from the Wonder Years had a really, really, really bad day, and then you get Counterparts.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot of like, it's kind of weird. I hadn't noticed this on a lot of other of the like Counterparts albums that I've listened to. And I think it's specific to this album.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of religious and sort of biblical symbolism in the lyrics that kind of took me a little by surprise. This is not like a religious or Christian album by any means, but it's sort of, it's big. It's big, heavy thematic imagery that the vast majority of people can recognize and understand. A lot of it related to just emotional anguish and whatnot. That's the overriding emotion that runs through all of everything Counterparts has ever done as anguish. And the thing, anguish is not even a specific term. Technically, anguish can be anger, sadness, just, anything that is so emotional you want to scream and cry and you're not sure which one you're feeling. That's just Counterparts.
He seemed to go with scream.
Oh, yeah, the scream. Yeah. But I mean, the stuff attached to that.
Sure.
Does this album slap?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about Counterparts as a band. I like them a lot. For a very long time, I wore a Counterparts sweatshirt nonstop. That was the first sweatshirt that I never took off at work. And then I switched to a Silent Planet sweatshirt. And then now I'm wearing a Wonder Years sweatshirt.
Right. You just wear the same shirt until it's really not wearable anymore.
Yeah.
And you retire it.
And then I get a new one.
And then you destroy another shirt.
And then I repeat the process over again. This one hasn't developed any holes so far. The cuffs haven't even started to come apart, which is usually the first thing that happens. Usually the cuffs start to get frayed.
Yep.
And I've had this sweatshirt for a while, and it's still in good condition. So I don't know what exactly has changed about the way I wear sweatshirts, or if this is just a tougher material. By the time I stopped wearing my Silent Planet sweatshirt, that thing was fucking trashed.
Right. It was trashed.
That thing, I still have that sweatshirt.
Oh, of course. You never throw it away.
No, I'm not gonna throw it. That's like what is it? A Transformers 2 reference of all things. Everyone's favorite Transformers property, Michael Bay's The Transformers 2 with Shia LaBeouf. But he mentions like, it's like a Super Bowl jersey. I'm not going to take this out because he's wearing like a ruined sweatshirt that he had in the first movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about that sweatshirt. It's like, I love this sweatshirt. I'm not going to get rid of it. It's still technically wearable.
I'm trying to remember that movie.
It's the one where at the end there was a really giant robot that started eating the pyramid and it had balls.
Oh, right.
It had two big wrecking balls that were testicles because funny. And it had the two little robots that were racist caricatures.
Right.
One was a black racist caricature.
That was the second movie?
Yeah. There were two. Wait, no. Sorry, they were two bigger robots. They were in the second and third movie. They were like medium sized. They were like smart cars or something, or like little hatchbacks, and they were racist caricatures. And then one of the teeny tiny little mini bots, I think they were also racist. I think there were two of them, and they were also racist. Because Michael Bay. I don't know.
The only one I remember is with the Dark of the Moon or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, yeah. That one, I hardly remember. I know Leonard Nimoy was in that one.
Was he?
Yeah, he played the where it's like, oh, this guy obviously isn't going to turn out to be the real villain of the movie. Oh, no, he was. It's Optimus Prime's dad. I mean, that wasn't his dad.
Was Spock?
Yeah, it was like his name was like Rodimus Prime or some shit.
He just his voice was
yeah,
it.
He was the voice of one of the robots in the Transformers.
I told you I
heard Bumblebee was okay.
Bumblebee wasn't bad. It was a fun popcorn movie.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna tell you I saw that Stallone movie. Yeah, I told you this morning that I saw it last night.
What was it called?
It was called Samaritan.
Samaritan, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's apparently a piece of trash. I saw a trailer for another
Ferrell?
No, what the fuck? Bruce Willis. Jesus.
Bruce Willis. Oh, really?
Another Bruce Willis geezer teaser that came out before, or that he made before he officially retired.
Oh.
I don't know how many more of them there are in the works still that are being edited and produced and whatnot. The slow trickle of his last, cash grab films. That are going to be
sure his
out.
Retirement.
Yes. Which, hey, look, if you got to do what you got to do. Like, I only got so many good years left where I can make any money with the thing that I do. So more power to him. But the movies are awful.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to deny that the movies are terrible. But
I mean, maybe he'll just retire and go on like speaking gigs.
Oh, it's a bad joke.
Sorry. It was.
But Sylvester Stallone, I feel like, is still marketable enough that he shouldn't be in these fucking awful movies. Like, I feel like he could get good roles if he really tried.
This was a Balboa production. This is one of his. He wrote and directed this goddamn thing. And the funny thing is, it felt like an action movie from like 1985.
Yeah,
that's how it felt.
They were trying to Expendables it, but they didn't have the draw of all of the other people that were in those movies.
Right. But the dialogue was strange a lot of the times, and of course there's a twist at the end. I won't say what it is in case somebody wants to see the movie. But let's just say if you watch any of the first part of the movie at all and you're not sleeping, you'll know what the twist is.
I don't give a shit. Sylvester Stallone's the bad guy.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Who cares?
He's a good guy now, but
he'll become the bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
Oh, he was
the bad guy the whole time.
I see.
The good guy was really dead.
I feel like I was saying though, I feel like Sylvester Stallone could get like decent roles in good movies if he wanted to, because like we know from Balboa, from Creed. I haven't seen Creed 2, but I don't know how he was in that, but like we know from those movies, we know from fucking First Blood that the man can be a compelling dramatic actor.
Sure.
And deliver emotional dialogue well. But instead, he makes these fucking awful action movies.
He wrote an Oscar-winning script while living in his car.
Like, the man's got serious talent.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like half the movies that he's been in over the last 20 years are just absolute dog shit.
I mean, yeah, half, but not all.
Not all. Like I said, Balboa, Creed. Probably Creed 2. I haven't seen Creed 2.
You haven't seen Creed 2?
The only bit I've seen of Creed 2 is the conversation between Rocky and Ivan Drago that they have in Rocky's restaurant, and that seemed pretty well acted. I thought that was compelling.
I thought Scott Stapp was good in
Continue the joke, asshole. Come on.
I got bored with it, and
coward.
I got bored with it. And
You
just
fucking coward.
It's not fear; it's boredom.
I'm just imagining instead of Michael B. Jordan, it's fucking Scott Stapp.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Fucking Scott Stapp.
Right.
Anyway. So Counterparts.
Yeah.
Out of 5 reviews that I could find, there was none. Oh, God. There wasn't a lot of like big publications that I could find reviews from. The biggest one I could find reviews from was Sputnik.
Oh, that's
and
a decent one.
The person who reviewed there for Sputnik. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ reviewed this album?
Yeah, Jesus chimed in on Sputnik Music. And it was like, hey, this Counterparts album is fucking dope.
It sort of refers to that book I'm kind of in.
Sputnik, at least one reviewer gave it a 5.0 out of 5.
Oh, really?
Gave it a classic. Another reviewer on Sputnik gave it a 4.6. So Sputnik like it, and they're kind of, I feel like they're kind of hard to please. Sort of like, it's kind of like Pitchfork, where it's like they have certain things that they like a lot, but they can be hard to please, I feel like. But out of 5 reviews, came out to about an 86, which is a fairly normal score for an album that is considered to be well regarded and or critically acclaimed.
Sure.
What was your favorite song on this album?
I really liked, what were the names of the songs? I'm trying to remember song names. I love the closer. I love the title, the title cut at the end. It's the only one who actually like does real clean vocals in.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not even sure that was Brendan, actually. I think that might have been one of the other band members.
One of the other band members?
At least on Wikipedia, it lists Alex Ree as doing clean vocals. I'm not sure if Brendan also contributes clean vocals or not. But I'm going to say that was probably Alex doing the clean vocals there. But
I liked Separate Wounds. That was a great song. I liked Cherished.
Yes, Cherished is fantastic.
Yeah. And like I said, I like the Nothing Left to Love.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with the title track. Look, when there's a title track, it's got that soft sort of really emotional opener. It's the title track. It's got that open. It's got the clean vocals when the rest of the album doesn't have it. It's also the album closer. Those are all the things.
That's a shoe-in.
Those are all the things that I go, oh, this is special to me. And also, it's a very good track. But it's like, of course, that was always going to be my favorite. But I Cherished also, I wrote down as as an honorable mention. I really like that song as well.
Definitely.
What medal do you bestow upon this album like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca?
Because it's not really my thing, but it's very good. I give this a very high silver.
All right.
A high-ho silver.
There's a goal for me.
Yeah.
I like Counterparts. I like this album. Counterparts is one of those bands where it's like I occasionally remember like, oh yeah, I love this band.
Imagine if I give this another listen, I can tell it's one of those things that didn't hit me as hard as it should have, and it will upon another listen. I might like it better listening to it more.
Perhaps. Well, next week it will be September, which for us often is a non-metal month. So, what album do you want us to listen to next week?
I would like to go back 41 years.
Okay.
The debut solo album by Phil Collins.
Okay.
Face Value.
Phil Collins, Face Value.
His first solo album. Now, mind you, if you can guess, what's the first song on his first solo album?
Is it called Phil Collins?
No, he didn't metal church it. No.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
The first song on Phil Collins.
The song that began his solo career.
Is it In the Air Tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if everybody's Phil Collins going solo now, let's see what this sounds like. And the first taste they got was that.
I mean, that is the Phil Collins song. So might as well start strong, I suppose. And then, do some Tarzan stuff.
Hey, you got
that wasn't a joke.
He got paid well for that.
I think the Tarzan soundtrack is pretty well regarded.
Yeah.
I think people are quite fond of the Tarzan soundtrack.
He did a good job with that.
I haven't seen Tarzan in an extremely long time. So I.
Damn it! No, I got "You'll Be in My Heart" stuck in my
You'll be in my heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
There we go. Next week, Phil Collins. How do we finish the podcast? Thanks very much for listening.
Social media.
Go on Facebook and on Twitter. Go on there. Actually, you know what? Don't go on Twitter. Do yourself a favor. Just get off of Facebook and Twitter.
I don't even have a Twitter account anymore. It's gone.
The only time I ever tweet from my Twitter account is when I very occasionally stream on Twitch. That is the only thing I ever use Twitter for. But if you are committed to using Twitter, why not find Bronze Metalist there? And we'll post episode links. We'll do that on Facebook too. Future Kale here to remind you of what past Kale forgot, which is that you should subscribe to our feed on whatever service you're using to listen to us, whether that's Libsyn's the podcast source or Apple's podcast app, or perhaps even on YouTube. Yeah, we can be listened to there, I think. I don't really check on that. So go ahead, hit subscribe. You'll get new episodes when they come out. The end of this episode was an absolute mess, but we're going to get you back to the unsatisfying conclusion of it. Good night. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations. No, don't. Put it down. Put it down. I didn't even pick up on the microphone.